I would like to open the floor for questions. And if you have questions, you can just use the reactions button there, or you can use chat. Yes, I would like to see the participants here. If we do not have questions, yes, Susanna.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I really apologize for the technical problems. I seem to have something also with my video. Now it's working, but I can't do anything with it. So there's something happening. A couple of comments. I really enjoyed all the presentations, and I think you've done a good job in putting us together because we were complementing one another. Like from the different angles, but still in the same umbrella, of course. First of all, into what Jean-Pierre was discussing, I think you also had a picture of somebody kissing the tree. I think it's very common here in Finland to actually hug the trees. It's something that we really emphasize people should be doing when they go out into the forest. You can actually feel the heat of the tree. They are warm creatures. When you are in Lapland, for example, and even if it's minus 25 degrees with plenty of snow and you're hugging a pine, you can feel how the pine is a living creature, and it actually gives you a lot of energy. This is what we really believe in. And then the forest walking and bathing that Soraya was discussing, and we also do a lot of research on that topic. Maybe you already know Liisa Tyrväinen. She's a professor from Luke here in Finland. And especially with the Japanese, by the way, they come here a lot, and they have been experimenting. Even the small urban green areas like small parks or small parks or little forests that you can also have in the urban areas are considered very important for this type of activity, that you can actually sit down and breathe in and really make use of that energy that comes from the nature. So really, this is why we should really take the loss of biodiversity very seriously, because this really is the biggest threat to all the humankind, the climate change plus the loss of biodiversity. So thank you very much for these presentations.
Thank you very much for your remarks. So if nobody takes this chance, I will use as a moderator my chance to ask questions. My first question is for Susanna. I have read your article, and thank you very much. It was data-driven. It gives us that cultural perspective. And your study was focusing the experience of wellness during the pandemic. And now I'm curious about these post-pandemic feelings, experiences, motivations of wellness travelers. What is your remark on that, your perspective?
Thank you for the question. I think the pandemic really opened the eyes of the global population when it comes to the importance of our health and well-being and all these types of aspects, because being locked down for so big times and not being able to go somewhere really I think opened our eyes. I think we learned, at least here in Finland, we learned a lot about domestic tourism, because people then actually realized that there are many places that they can visit nearby. And this is also when nature tourism really started peaking. So we have seen post-pandemic, we have really seen the use of these green areas, national parks and recreational areas. The use of those has really increased. To the extent that they have started working on the infrastructure, because we need to sort of facilitate more people coming into these areas, which is obviously a very positive thing. Also, I think we have seen a boom already in all types of wellness activities, not just being outdoors, but also in the sports, also in the healthy eating sector, like local food, all these types of issues have really been risen here, at least here in Finland, but I think also globally. And the resilience of tourism was proven once again. Unfortunately, I would say, unfortunately, we are flying too much. This is, of course, one of the negative things, but so that people are actually traveling a lot more again. But hopefully, we will start looking at the closer areas also and finding those strawberry places, as we see like the favorite places from the local neighborhoods, and not always somewhere far away. So this is my sort of response to this. It's really positive progress.
Thank you very much. And your one of your findings about a Finnish experience or Finnish conceptualization of happiness, which they invest in long-term benefits, not Rolex, not buying an expensive car for them, and it corresponds with Hofstede's cultural dimensions for long-term orientation. And
Yes.
in relation with that, my question is to Jean-Pierre. I want also all of you, because you are experts on happiness and well-being studies. I'm curious about cross-cultural or cross-national studies. What kind of differences in experiencing and feeling of happiness we see across cultures, across nations? Is there a study like that? Have you come across, or maybe your own ideas, remarks, cross-cultural differences or cross-national differences in experiencing and feeling happiness? To all of our participants, very big questions.
I want to respond in this on two ways, because if you take the World Happiness Report, you have some indication on which elements are important to happiness, and that's also towards countries. It's not towards cultures. To be honest, I haven't come across a study which is specifically to cultures, and I think it's difficult to define what a culture is, but I haven't seen a study of that. And I want to respond on depending on what defines happiness in what Susanna just said. What I want to not warn, but stimulate, is that people might find it strange that people hug a tree. And I don't like that, because some people like to hug a tree and it feels good. So just like Susanna said, they believe, and it doesn't interest me if it's proven. What I would like to suggest to everyone, doesn't matter if you're an other adult or a student, try things. And if it works for you, there is a connection between mind and body. So if it makes you feel better in a mental way, it will also improve your physical way, and the other way around. So whatever comes, forest bathing, hugging a tree, I don't think there are strange things. The past years I did an MA, and I learned an English term because I'm Dutch. It's called frolicking. You can try to look it up, because frolicking is like jumping around outside and having fun. Mm-hmm. And some people would, if I go out on the street and people see me, they find me strange. But if it works for me, it works for me. So what I advise everyone to do, try things.
And we have a question from our student, Nur Sultan. He asks, what types of tourism are the most beneficial ones for youth mental health? To all of our speakers.
Yeah, everyone can react, but the thing I also want to mention is there is a big correlation between your physical and your mental health. So there is a lot of research on that. Young people feel stressed and have a lot of anxiety. And the best remedy to get rid of anxiety is exercise. Mm-hmm. Exercise, and then combine it with nature, you have a very good antidote to stress and anxiety.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah, I actually recommend it. There is at least, well, from my limited perspective, there is a Finnish female, Dr. Riikka Puhakka. She has done a lot of, she was one of our academy researchers, so really highly respected. And she has really concentrated on young children and youngsters, like teenagers. And I think most of her studies are to do with nature. Once again, nature benefits from the nature towards mental health, health, and like going into like these longer camps and hiking, just like Jean-Pierre said, a lot of like activities in the nature. That is something that they highly recommend.
I just to say I agree with Susanna. Of course, nature tourism is kind of, I think, a baseline to help on mental health, of course. But also linked with that, I would say from some research and articles I read, doing volunteering also, it's kind of proven that helps a lot of feelings of gratitude and feeling well-being, etc. And I think it's also a way to help on that part, engage on that kind of activities. Also within other countries and etc. There are many places who accept people who want to do volunteers.
Thank you very much. In fact, the next week, I would like to just summarize what we have talked about this youth mental health, and Jean-Pierre focused on emphasized exercise. Susanna mentioned about nature, and Soraya suggested volunteering. Next week, we are going to have a picnic in the campus, and we are going to pick up that rubbishes and clean our campus. So our young students, they can participate. It's both physical exercise, it's volunteering, and it's in the campus, it's in the nature. And with the suggestions from our experts, I'm taking this opportunity to enforce our students participated. Please, Susanna. Yes.
No, I was just clapping to this activity next week. I'm sorry, I can't join you.
Yes, I will take photos. You see, this is for your mental health, students. Our students, guys, this is for your mental health. And I have a question also for Soraya. Soraya, with our colleagues, we have conducted research on how outdoor recreation and social intimacy in outdoor recreation impacts on well-being. And of course, outdoor recreation, being in outdoor, was a factor influencing the feeling of well-being. I wonder about the contribution of positive psychology, again, on the perception, experience of nature-based tourism. From more perspective about positive psychology, what you can add to what you have just said?
Well, positive psychology is kind of a big world, but when I think of it applied to tourism and outdoor and recreation, there is I think the basic model, which is the PERMA model. I'm sure someone here already read about it, which PERMA is for five dimensions: so positive emotion, engagement, meaning, a relationship, and accomplishment. When you do that with outdoor activities, I think you can accomplish all of that. You can feel good, positive emotions. If you are with a group of people, you have here the relationships, which I think is very important. Jean-Pierre spoke about it, so I think Susanna too. The relationships always comes on top when we work with positive psychology. And even tourism, I did before the pandemic, I I did a study with colleagues. It was actually my interest to tourism about well-being in Madeira Island. And one of the big things that always came was the relationship with our community, the idea of hospitality and things like that. So we can, of course, do that with outdoor activities, with even with students, what we will do next week all together. And the meaning part and the accomplish part, I think it comes a little bit naturally. When you are together, sometimes you find meaning in those relationships and those activities. You sometimes have a focus, purpose to do that. And also you feel accomplished at the end. So when we think about positive psychology, you can, of course, apply it to those different dimensions of outdoor, going out, even alone, because I really I like the idea of Susanna of the 5 meters on the COVID, because well, I'm from the south, but sometimes I like my 5 meters too. But we also can find that sense of community when we do all of this. So yeah, I think it's positive psychology brings a lot of insights. Particularly if you want a person I do enjoy reading, it's Sebastian Philip. That he has a lot of stuff published on positive psychology applied to tourism, and I think he is now in Bond University. So he has a lot. He has even a book about it, Positive Tourism. It's one of the best books for me to learn more how to apply it to tourism. So I don't know if.
And I have final question for Yılmaz. Dear Professor, before starting our session with our speakers, we were talking about the loss of interest in the youth for tourism, studying tourism and working in tourism. You mentioned about that motivational factors, particularly psychological factors. I wonder about your remark regarding that psychological factors. Are they enough to motivate? So keeping in mind the low salary, long working hours, what is your opinion?
Nowadays, a lot of students don't want to continue the tourism education because they have important problem. Their motivations are too low. They have the subject, they have the their idea is not determined your future. It's their future is the not core. There are a lot of problem. What will you do? What can I do? How business? Which business can I work? Which hierarchic status I have? A lot of undetermined situation, and a lot of sectoral problem. Low income, long working hours, a lot of sociological problem, because a lot of social don't give the importance for tourism employer, because it's the basic professional or basic job. Tourism business have a lot of high level professional task and low level professional task. Therefore, when you speak about the tourism students, a lot of tourism students say that I don't want to be a waiter. I don't want to be a manager. But this station are not in the social, only their idea. It's a thought, and the main problem is the foreign language, because a lot of universities don't give the sufficient foreign language educate. So at experience, it's the main other problem. They some of the students have no experience at the tourism sector, or not enough experience for the be worker. All of these I subsection my future, our future, because a lot of we lived the COVID. So some tourism business closed. Some tourism employees changed their career. They passed the other sector because they don't give the sector. They are this tourism sector is the insecurity sector. For a lot of people. Tourism education process is too long. For example, in my country, if you take the bachelor, you must go to 4 years. It's too long. Maybe 2 years will be enough because theoretical lessons too much, practical lessons too low. It must be balance. Sometimes we speak with my students. They have anxiety. They have unmotivational status. Social, economic, or global, a lot of factor affect them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your remarks. So, so far, I'm looking at the chat box, and we don't have any more questions. It has been a long journey. We started with Jean-Pierre's question about happiness journey. Is it a destination or the journey itself? And we have taken that journey, and I would like to thank my deepest thanks, sincerest thanks to our distinguished speakers for being with us today, sharing their expertise, knowledge. And I wish that we continue that happiness journey. It doesn't stay just here. Out of this computer, that Zoom room, we continue to be in that destination of happiness. And destination is ourselves, right, Jean-Pierre? Destination is ourselves. Journey is ourselves. We have a question. I guess I have seen. Okay, next year on site. Yes, we hope so. Also, that well-being related projects, maybe we can also collaborate on that. Thank you very much. Susanna has sent her presentation. I can share it with my students, with our students. Thank you very much for that. So again, thank you for joining us, our speakers, our students, and our distinguished lecturers. With your kind permission, then I'm just stopping the recording process, and also I'm concluding this session. Okay, thank you very much. See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.